the Bentley Continental GT Speed. It's currently the fastest and most powerful Conti you can buy, and something of a farewell to the twin-turbocharged 6-litre W12 that powers it, an engine that will go out of production in April 2024. The boys and girls at Crewe are no strangers to producing some of the world's finest luxury vehicles, with the Continental GT a grand touring icon. However, for the Speed, Bentley has thrown the kitchen sink at making the best GT car they can. They've upped the driving dynamics with rear wheel steering. It can now deliver 95% of the power to the rear wheels only, and then there's that engine. So let's talk a little bit about this engine. This twin turbocharged 6-litre W12 engine. It is an absolute powerhouse. 650 brake horsepower, 664 foot-pounds of torque, and that torque comes in from just 1500 RPM, so it's got loads of low and mid-range performance. This thing is absolutely rapid, 0 to 60 in just 3.5 seconds and a top speed of 208 miles an hour. Now, I've driven a standard W12 Conti GT before and it feels very fast, but this thing feels just ridiculous. I know it's only another 24 brake horsepower, but this feels like, to my mind anyway, a significantly quicker car. The gearbox as well, that just smooths its way through the gear shifts. Now, it's a ZF double clutch. It's not a torque converter like you get in some other cars. And so what you get is two things. First of all, really smooth gear changes, like I said, but also when you do want to put it into manual mode and you want to use the paddles, the gear changes are far more responsive than what you get from your conventional torque converter. So again, it's really well judged, really well balanced. We have multiple driving modes available to us. So when you start the car, it defaults to Bentley, which is a middle ground between sport and comfort. Now, we're coming up to an interesting piece of road, so I'm going to pop it into sport mode. And there's a few things that you notice. First of all, the ride quality starts to feel a little bit firmer. Secondly, more noise from that W12 engine is being piped in. And next of all, you've got increased throttle response. Now, one thing that always really impresses me with this car is that it weighs a little bit over 2.2 tons, but for some reason, the front end just goes where you want it to. It might be a big heavy car, but this thing handles really, really well. And also we've got rear wheel steering as well. So you sort of chuck it into a corner, you give it a little bit of gas, and the rear just comes round to meet you. And you can carry a huge amount of speed in it as well. It's a pretty soggy day today, but this four-wheel drive system is just laying the power down and giving us loads of grip, loads of performance. Yeah, this thing is an absolute hoot. Then when you're done hooning, you just pop it back into comfort and it goes back to being, well, just this is the consummate cruiser really, isn't it? Let's talk about this ride quality again. So it does pick out some of the smaller imperfections in the road, particularly when the road surface is a little bit on the rougher side. But we have 3-chamber air suspension here, so all the bigger stuff, it just glides over it. I mean, this car just wafts along. It's such a pleasure to drive, such a pleasure to be in. And also this steering, really well judged. Now, for a car like this, it can be really difficult to get the steering just right, because what you need is light steering to help mask the weight of the vehicle, but at the same time it needs to be heavy enough, it needs to give you enough feedback so that you know how to place the car on the road, so you have a good sense of where the front wheels are, because it's a big car and sometimes navigating wide cars with really light steering can be difficult. But the rack on this Bentley is beautifully judged. And then you just get all the refinement that comes with this car as well. So you really do feel cosseted in here. You really don't hear much from the outside world. Just you in your Bentley with your big W12 engine. It's wonderfully relaxing, this car. A few other things to mention. We have a custom driving mode as well, so you can configure your setup to how you like it. This isn't the easiest car in the world to see out of, particularly at junctions. So there's not a great view out of the rear. Also, you've got this really thick A-pillar and these large door mirrors as well. So it's just, you kind of, when you're going around corners, you're having to look around them the whole time and just yeah, it's not the easiest car to see out of. But apart from that, there really isn't much to poke holes in here. It's a really lovely car. It's a lot of money. With the options, this car is £265,000, about 220 grand base spec. But this has the big carbon ceramic brake option. These carbon ceramics, by the way, absolutely mighty, 420mm discs up front. And trust me, when you need to anchor down, this thing really, really, really stops in a hurry. But, I mean, what a thing. And then, well, there's the interior, isn't there? I mean, just look at it. For all its performance and dynamic ability, the most sensational area of this car is the interior. Bentley are great at optioning press vehicles, and this one is no different. The cabin is trimmed in quality leather and exquisite Alcantara, and sports a duotone colourway with Brunel leather and camel accents. The fascias are engine-turned aluminium, and there's a contrast stitch throughout. The organ stops for the vents are a Bentley hallmark, as is the knurling on the dials, and the sound that comes from the name Hi-Fi is exceptional. The onboard tech is hidden away instead of being in your face, something which is aided by the rotating display in the centre console. Best of all, Bentley will create nearly anything you desire using all manner of colours and materials. The possibilities really do stretch far beyond the imagination of most. I've personally visited the factory at Crewe and witnessed these cars being hand-built by the industry's finest craftspeople, something every customer should see. This is what you pay for. This is what Bentley do best. So let's round this up. Stunning, stunning, stunning interior. Wonderful ride quality, more performance than you're ever going to want or need. I mean, this thing is absolutely rapid in a straight line. I can't get over how fast it is. This is just the do-it-all GT car, isn't it? I mean, it is one of the best cars in the world. Let's be very honest about it. You know, if you want to go on a long journey in a car, there are a few that you would pick over a Bentley Continental GT, especially a Continental GT Speed. I mean, this thing is just, it's the very top of the Conti GT range, isn't it? And it's a really, really special car. And I just think if you've got the money to have one of these, you should go out and get it. And as we all know, they're going to stop making this W12 engine. April 2024 is when they're going to stop making this car with this engine. You'll be able to buy it as a V8, but yeah, the W12 will be gone. And there's only limited build slots left for these things, so if you haven't picked yourself one up yet, you should definitely consider it if you want one. So yeah, stunning car. We've loved driving it. Wouldn't mind one myself, actually, one day. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you've liked it, please do like it. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.